Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released iOS 13.2 Developer Beta 3. Now this came in at 222.8 megabytes on my 11 Pro Max, and it was similar sized on my other devices below. I have the 8 Plus and I also have the 10R, and we'll take a look at those in just a moment. Now as far as the build number, let's take a look at that. The build number is 17B5077A, and that A means we're getting closer to the final release. In fact, we're about 9 releases newer than we were with the previous beta. So they have seemingly fixed a bunch of bugs, which is really nice, but I do expect the final to be somewhere around the 30th because Apple is releasing those new Beats headphones, the Beats Solo Pro, and those have active noise cancellation. And in order to have active noise cancellation, there needs to be a feature turned on in iOS 13.2. So I would expect it around that time. Now, as far as changes and things, now there is a modem update for this that includes a carrier update for many carriers as well. So if you have T-Mobile like I do, or AT&T, and you're having issues with Wi-Fi or just issues in general with connectivity, this should fix that. Now, I'm not having too many issues, but if you are, hopefully this resolves that. Now, as far as the notes, Apple says there's nothing new, so they haven't mentioned any fixes, any resolved issues, or any known issues as well. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the GPS issues, and that arrow indicates that the GPS is used or location services was used, even though when you go into settings and go into privacy and everything like that, you're not seeing anything as far as location services. So if you go in here, it should tell you what was using it recently, and you'll see that I have a bunch of location-based alerts and things, and even with all of these off, people are seeing this show up. So it just depends on your phone, but this will probably be something that they resolve before the final release. Now, some people were having issues with iCloud music syncing, and a lot of people are saying this is now working properly, and also people that were using messages and using dark mode. So if I switch over to dark mode, and then I go into messages, when they went to reply, oftentimes the reply box was actually not in dark mode. So that seems to be fixed. They've also fixed messages where it will also repeat the notifications. So before, notifications might not show up more than once, but you can change that in settings. So if we turn dark mode back off, and then we go to notifications, and then we go down to messages, go all the way down. Now, under messages, we actually have repeat alerts. And if you have this set to anything more than once, we go here, you'll see we have once, twice, 3 times. And if you had it set to more than once, it just wasn't showing up for a lot of people. That is fixed for most people. Now, overall, I haven't found any other changes or anything like that, and it seems to be much faster. Animations and things and apps opening and things seem to be quicker as well. Now, even on older devices, even though the 8 Plus is not that old, scrolling is super smooth, apps opening is nice and fast, and just the overall experience is great. And that includes, I think they fixed Mail, because Mail is working great no matter which device I'm actually on. So if I'm on the 10R or the 11 Pro Max, the Mail is working fast, it's checking mail fast, and I'm not really having any issues whatsoever. Now, quite a few people are still having issues with RAM management, and at this point, I think it's an application issue where people need to update their apps. So hopefully they do that, but that just means when you do that and you open another app up and you've closed it, it's reloading over and over. And I see that more and more with apps from YouTube. So I think they've hopefully fixed it on the iPhone side, and then the app developers need to fix whatever they're doing. Or maybe Apple's just being more aggressive and forcing it to reload so it doesn't use as much power. And speaking of power, let's go ahead and take a look at battery life. So if we go into settings and then we go over to battery, you'll see battery life on the previous beta was not so great for me. 3 hours and 9 minutes of screen on time, 22 minutes of screen off time, and that's with about 50% battery life left. So that means about 6.5 hours overall. However, I would expect probably 8 or 9 on the 11 Pro Max that I have here. I'm hoping that iOS 13.2 Beta 3 fixes this, but so far it's been not so great. So hopefully it gets better, and I imagine that it will, but we don't really know so far. Now, other than the performance I mentioned before, where everything feels nice and fast and fluid, I did run a Geekbench for those of you that are interested, so let's take a look at that. And this is Geekbench 5, so the numbers are a little bit lower, but I scored 1,333 for single core, 3,457 for multi-core. I've achieved the same single core score over and over, and if I go into history, Let me go to CPU here. You'll see that I have the same exact score for the single core for 3 weeks in a row. The single core is identical. I don't know if it's averaging something, but the multi-core is right in line where we expect it. Now for the other devices, let me show you those. Now with the reflection, I apologize, it's a little bit hard to see, but on the far left we have the iPhone 8 Plus, in the middle we have the iPhone XR, and on the far right we have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So that should give you a general idea of how performance is overall. So that's it for iOS 13.2 Beta 3. If you found anything else, let me know in the comments below. I haven't found any other significant changes or splash screens or popping up or anything like that, but let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course I'll link it in the description as I always do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.